Hello everyone, a warm welcome to a fresh edition of Your Image, the first public relations program on television in Africa. My name is Dari Folarin. Today, we are looking at the World Public Relations Day, which was celebrated last week. The theme of the World Public Relations Day was the golden age of strategic communication. And to help unpack this wonderful topic, I have with me past chairman of the Ogun State chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR. And I'd like to first introduce a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, past chairman of Ogun State, NIPR, Prince Femi Dokumu. Thanks, Dokumu. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
We're highly honored to have you. Right. And also, a former chairman, my chairman, Pastor Bimbo Alagbe. Pastor Alagbe, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
You're looking very dapper as usual.
It's always my pleasure. It's always my pleasure being on.
Yeah, when we profess public relations, you can expect the very best. Yeah, let's start with you, Prince Dokumu. Help us to unpack the thing. You know, in those days, when we first joined public relations in the early 90s, we were fighting tooth and nail to make sure that public relations is regarded as a management function. How far so far?
Well, thank you very much. Although I hope Bimbo will forgive me because he was
chairman before you.
He was chairman before me.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Although more or less it was like a dual chairmanship that we had then. Let me say this: that whether you like it or not, public relations has always been a management function. Whether it is so recognized or it is not so recognized, by virtue of the application applied public relations, it's always a management function because the decision making at some level will be what you regard as management strategy.
But you remember the fights that we had to put up.
Yes, I know, for a very long time, and up till now, you have heads of organizations who do not really understand that, and up till now, many of them still prevent their public relations executives from being part of the management, sit at management meetings, and of course, issues come from there. Because what it would mean is that you would have gone ahead with certain plans or activities only to now face problems. Then you now come back to the public relations expert who is supposed to have advised you right from the conceptualization of certain policies and ideas. So, but I like to say this, that presently, there are new definitions of public relations that emphasizes strategic management. It says that public relations is a strategic management discipline.
Right.
And that's the way we should take it.
Okay,
otherwise, the organization will suffer.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful time to be a public relations practitioner.
Really?
It's regarded as the golden age of public relations.
Really?
How do you feel, Pastor Adelabi?
Well, one will feel great in the sense that, initially when we were starting out, not very many organizations will bring PR officers into management.
Right.
But now, public relations practitioners and communicators generally contribute into the policy formulation, which guides the operations of the organization. So where that is known, a public relations manager or professional comes into the management meeting, knows how and why some policies are coming into place, makes contributions into that, so that there will not be policy somersaults.
Right.
So, and if that is happening now, instead of now having to do damage control
all the time,
all the time, now it looks as if now communication is well planned. The practitioner knows what was responsible for the formulation of what policy, and they are able to speak to that, defend it, present it, and make it popular among the, so it's a great time to be a practitioner.
Amazing. So before we go to the specifics, what is happening now, we would like to go back to history. Let's start from our former presidents, Sam Ekpele, Efori, Yakubu Mohammed, Boboso for Chief Jibade. Okay, tell us and some of the high points, just very quickly, sir.
Well, public relations practice in Nigeria, I think it's about 63 years old now.
Yes.
And then you have the early ages from Sam Ekpele, to some, then Alex Ekiele and all that. Then you have from Bob Ogbuagu, the medieval period. Before you now begin to talk of Ike Neleaku of this world, so which are the current generation of public relations, the golden age that we now have. Each one of them, has made very vital contributions to the development of public relations in Nigeria. It's like a structure. You need to have a very strong foundation. So people like Sam Ekpele provided that fundamental, strong foundation. Then you now have people who now put the blocks, lay the blocks, here and there, and ensure that we go to the lintel and then what have you. And then some people are now putting the roof and then putting furniture into the building. That is how it has come. And so we can look back and say that we now have a golden age of public relations practice, of strategic public relations and communication generally in Nigeria. It's a very golden period. Now we talk about being the brightest. We talk about being the boldest. And then we also talk about reputation management, which even the Nigerian government is enjoying. And that is why it is easy for us now, for Nigeria to host the world.
Amazing.
And we're talking of the World Public Relations Forum that will be holding in Nigeria in November.
Amazing.
I'm happy to be a professional public relations.
Wonderful. So let's look at it. It can't get any better than this. We have a university, the first in the world, is going to be built in Nigeria. University of Public Relations and Leadership. And what do you feel about this?
You see, I feel great about that too, because the profession is evolving and evolving well. Now, as Femi was saying it the other time, in engineering, when you look at, it's not just enough to provide the land for the building of any structure. You must look at the texture of the land also. Sometimes what it takes you to build in a place like Abeokuta or any other place in the southwest, what you will have used to complete maybe a 12-story, you are spending it on the substructure in Lagos. And by the time you begin to do all those ones, because before you begin to see the superstructure and the finishing that we see. Now, it feels so great now that the PR profession has evolved in Nigeria to the extent that we have quite a number of proud moments that we can refer to.
Amazing.
So 63 years is not been. If I can use that. 63 years is not been. It's not my mind. It's and a lot of work has gone into that. I remember, even if we have to conceptualize that into the Ogun State chapter, I knew how many regimes of have pushed even into the to the recognition of the PR as a management function. And I knew that like 2 or 3 before me did, pushed. They couldn't achieve it. I pushed. I was not able to. Femi pushed.
Then he handed over to Tope.
And then he handed over to Tope, and Tope pushed, and then
handed over to
at the end, we were able to have that done. And you see, it's like when we are cutting, a tree. and you are using an axe, everybody comes and begin to hit. You know, one will hit it and it will fall. The one that fall is not the one that fell the tree, but the accumulation of every effort that has been put into, you know, into the felling of the tree.
Okay.
So I must say that at this time, it feels really, really great that, right before our own eyes.
It's the golden age.
You know, it's the golden
And
age.
you are putting on a golden cap. So that's a wonderful one. Let's talk about some of the things. But public relations is deliberate, it's planned, and it's sustained.
Yes.
How have we been helping in solving problems in the country? We have a Minister of Information who's a member.
Yes, Mohammed.
Yes.
Mohammed Idris.
Yeah. So
Yes.
how have we been helping in solving problems?
Well, you see, there is a need to look at the various places
Right.
where public relations professionals are having their inputs.
Right.
Before you talk of Nigeria as a country, you need to look at the various MDAs,
Okay.
ministries, departments, agencies, private organizations, institutions, and so on and so forth. You know, every one of these smaller places, you know, have one form of public relations input or the other into their daily decision making or daily administration or management of the various organizations. And all this will accumulate into whatever you are now seeing in the country. Because if there is an event in one ministry that affects the image of the whole country, it certainly will affect Nigeria's image in the international community.
Okay.
So certainly we are putting a lot of efforts in those various places. But if you are now looking at Nigeria as possibly as a government, we are happy that even the country itself has come to realize the significance of public relations.
Amazing.
And that is why you no longer have the information cadre
Right.
in the ministries anymore.
They are now designated.
You now have information and public relations.
Officers.
It takes a whole lot of understanding and recognition of a profession. Because take for instance, I rose up to become a director grade level 17 in my organization before I retired. And up to the time I retired, they were still saying, look, although they employed you as a public relations professional, but you don't have a cadre. So the cadre that you will just belong to is the information cadre. But after that, the government has come to realize the importance, the significance of public relations in the whole gamut of decision making in the country, as well as building a reputation for the country. And that is why they have now accepted that you now have ministries of information and directorate of information and public relations. But even if you look at Ogun State, what we have is the Ministry of Information and Strategy.
Right.
That strategy is the one they were looking at as the public relations part of it before. But now that has gone down from the national to the sub-national, they have also accepted that information and public relations cadre.
Okay.
Now, the reputation that Nigeria is building, you cannot wish away the role of public relations there. If you do that, anybody who does that, a president or a governor or anybody who is in charge of any organization, once you miss it, once you don't apply public relations, you don't take to the advice of a public relations practitioner, you might find yourself.
Thank you very much. Let's
Let's
continue to look at the pivotal role of public relations. You know, when I was in the corporate world, we used to plan all events end to end, from the creation to the execution. Then we do post analysis. Talk to us about this as regards solving problems generally, and the need for the citizens to imbibe PR.
Yeah, the first thing we need to look at is that initially, you know, the public relations department is seen as just where information is handed over to somebody, and that could be anybody.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a professional.
Right.
And that's why, before.
Okay.
So they will just say, okay, it's information.
Right.
Let's just hand the information over to this person. He doesn't have to be a professional. If he studies anything, just let him go and inform. But then they will do that, and then they will get their fingers burnt, and then they will return. And then somebody now has to look at it that, oh, we have to be strategic about this.
Okay.
And so they began to look at the issue of strategy. So because we need to plan, execute, and even do, evaluation
right.
thereafter. So when people, public relations professionals are now being employed, even though they are called, information officers, they now put the knowledge of that into practice. That, okay, if we are going to do this, can we study the trends?
Okay.
So having studied the trend, we can predict the outcome. And so when the person now studies the trends and now writes to say, okay, because I know that quite a number of times people will come and so what do? We have done this over the time, it's not working. I say, okay, keep doing it.
Right.
So when they now predict they study the trends, they predict the consequences, and then they write the management to say, if we do this, this is where we will end. Sometimes the management just overlooks that, and then they come back and find out that, oh, the predictions of this professional has come to pass, not once, not twice, and then they began to look at it. I think we should listen more.
Some corporate companies around the world have even taken it to the extent that it's only PR that they do. They've shunned advertising. And Bill Gates says that I would rather prefer to do public relations than to do adverts.
Yeah.
Help us to talk more about so that people can understand the need for this public relations. What is public relations itself? What in this PR means? Or
what's the public relations? Well, let me just say this. I give a very simple analogy. Public relations, by its definition, the IPR definitions, you have said it, deliberate, planned, sustained effort, aim to establish mutual understanding and goodwill between organizations, persons, and their publics. That is that. But you can bring it down to the fact that public relations itself is a culture. It's a strategy towards getting understanding of somebody and getting such a person to accept you. Acceptability.
So that's your
take for instance somebody who wants to woo a woman, a lady. Okay, maybe a woman is old already, a lady. And you have to do what is called groundwork. Do something that will make you to be acceptable by the lady. You begin to give, be nice. You give certain things, do some gifting here and there. Take care of, show care, and all that, and do things that will to woo her. All those things are public relations efforts. No amount of advertising yourself. Take for instance, my father is the owner of Nigeria. My father owns Nigeria Railway Corporation. That can even put the lady off. But if you show care, which public relations is all about, you speak and the truth is there, integrity in whatever you do. Of course, although public relations is not about dressing well and all that per se, but if you are good looking and you can attract such a person, certainly that in itself is public relations raw.
Okay.
As a culture.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's quickly look at some of the wins. The Public Relations Week. That's why we are here now. So talk to us about that. Now, we hosted the first one.
Yes, we did. We did. And that actually put the state on the world, pedestal. And people want to know. And let me tell you, practitioners all over the world wants to know what is happening everywhere. And if you Google anything about public relations now, whatever thing that was said here that is put on the net can be accessed anywhere all over the world. And so what that means is that definitions and things like even this kind of programs that is coming up now, if a topic will have to come, It's being uploaded for everybody all over the world. So
it has gone
it's
viral.
not, yes, it has gone viral.
No,
So
no.
it's not just about the, it's not about.
As we begin to wrap up now, thank you very much for that. Let's look at the Owambe culture thing too. Quickly about the Owambe. This is the clothes that I'm putting on. Let's talk about that. That's part of the development of PR in Ogun State here, and then the achievements of the Sheoboye-led Expo. Quickly,
Yes, we want to promote our culture.
Yeah.
We also want to promote our business,
Right.
and make a lot of money for Ogun State, as it were. And we believe that one way to go about that is to project this Abire, which is one of our core businesses here. And so we believe that public relations has a role to play there. Let us also begin to wear it, adorn ourselves beautifully with it, so that all others can also emulate and see.
Here. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you, Praise Doku. Wonderful. Pastor Bimbalagwe, thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
It's our
Thank you
pleasure.
so
So
much.
that's the size of the package for today. Until next week, when we come your way again with a fresh edition of the program. On behalf of the team, led by Akin Okudero, Bukola Akinride, and others, this is yours sincerely, Dari Folarin, saying bye for now.